السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور. السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. يا أبا عبد الله، لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام، وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات. فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت، ولعن الله أمة دفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها، ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم، ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم ومن أشياعهم وأتباعهم وأوليائهم. Everyone. يا أبا عبد الله، إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم إلى يوم القيامة. ولعن الله آل زياد وآل مروان، ولعن الله بني أمية قاطبا، ولعن الله ابن مرجانة، ولعن الله عمر بن سعد، ولعن الله شمرا، ولعن الله أمة أسرجت وألجمت وتنقبت لقتالي. بأبي أنت وأمي، بأبي أنت وأمي يا أبا عبد الله، لقد عظم مصابي بك، فأسأل الله الذي أكرم مقامك وأكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب ثارك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيها بالحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة. يا أبا عبد الله، إني أتقرب إلى الله وإلى رسوله وإلى أمير المؤمنين وإلى فاطمة وإلى الحسن وإليك بموالاتك وبالبراءة ممن قاتلك ونصب لك الحرب، وبالبراءة ممن أسس أساس الظلم والجور عليكم. وأبرأ إلى الله وإلى رسوله ممن أسس أساس ذلك وبنى عليه بنيانه وجرى في ظلمه وجوره عليكم وعلى أشياعكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم، وأتقرب إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم، وبالبراءة من أعدائكم والناصبين لكم الحرب، وبالبراءة من أشياعهم وأتباعهم. Everyone. إني سلم لمن سالمكم، وحرب لمن حاربكم، وولي لمن والاكم، وعدو لمن عاداكم. فأسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أوليائكم ورزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة، وأن يثبت لي عندكم قدم صدق في الدنيا والآخرة، وأسأله أن يبلغني المقام المحمود لكم عند الله، وأن يرزقني طلب ثاري مع إمام هدى ظاهر ناطق بالحق منكم. وأسأل الله بحقكم وبالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يعطيني بمصابي بكم أفضل ما يعطي مصابا بمصيبتي، مصيبة ما أعظم وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. Raise your hands. اللهم اجعلني في مقامي هذا ممن تناله منك صلوات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد، ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إنا هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية وابن آكلة الأكباد، اللعين ابن اللعين على لسانك ولسان نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله في كل موقف وقف فيه نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم لعن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية، عليهم منك اللعن أبد الآبدين. وهذا يوم فرحت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعن منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقفي هذا وأيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. الله أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد، وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. Again. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Everyone. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن وعلى أولاد وعلى أصحاب الحسين. One more time. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي وعلى أولاد وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني، وابدأ به أولا، ثم العن الثاني والثالث والرابع. اللهم العن يزيد خامسا، والعن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجانا وعمر بن سعد وشمرا وآل أبي سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين، لك على مصابهم، الحمد لله على عظيم رزيتي. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود، وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام.
سلام. Test. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome everyone. Before we officially start the program with Quran recitation, I just wanted to let you know that there is a kids program. So if you have any kids under the age of like 10, 11, there is a special program that is run by some of the sisters in the dining hall. They have like I think 2 classes for the ages up to 5, like 3 to 5, and another activities for the ages of 5 to like 10, 11. They do a lot of crafting, painting. They have a lot of fun stuff, educational stuff about Karbala, about the events of Karbala, Imam Hussein, and things like that. So I strongly encourage you to send your kids to the dining hall for the kids activities. And again, if you know of any other families who have kids, encourage them to bring the kids and hopefully benefit from the program. Let's welcome our reciter for tonight, Brother Sheikh Ahmad Yar, with your loudest salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
أولئك اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أولئك على هدى من ربهم أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم ألا إنهم هم المفسدون ولكن لا يشعرون. وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا كما آمن الناس قالوا ونؤمن كما آمن السفهاء. قالوا ونؤمن كما آمن السفهاء. ألا إنهم هم السفهاء ولكن لا يعلمون. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين. إن لقتل الحسين عليه السلام حرارة في قلوب المؤمنين لن تبرد أبدا. Indeed, in the hearts for the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, there is a heat in the hearts of mu'mineen that will not cool down ever. I welcome you all to the second night of our Muharram program here at Masjid Al-Nabi. Let me thank all of the volunteers who helped to set up the tents last night. They were here up to 2 a.m. All of the folks who did it before the program yesterday, after the program yesterday, before the program today. It takes a lot of effort and time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them all and reward them for all of their deeds. Let's recite a loud salawat for all of them, please. I announced it before the Quran recitation, but let me reiterate that we have a special kids program during this 10 nights of Muharram, inshallah. Few of the sisters are running that program in the dining hall. If you have any kids, any children below the age of 10, 11, I encourage you to send them to that program. They have a lot of crafting, painting, games, all of these related to the events of Karbala on the themes of Imam Hussein and Ashura. They have like many lectures, activities. I'm sure they will enjoy it and they'll learn and benefit from that. So I encourage you to inshallah send your kids, and also let other families who may have kids to inshallah take advantage of this opportunity. Another thing is about your support and donations. As always, we need your support, your generous support. Every night that we serve food here, it costs something between like $500 up to $2,000 per night. Like for the nights that is more crowded, for these nights like this, it costs just $500. One of the brothers just sponsored one of the nights, so I encourage you. It's just $400, $500. You can sponsor one night of food for a majlis of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein in the city of Los Angeles. You spend money on many other things. I don't think this is much to you will get a good return on this investment, inshallah. So again, if you want to make a donation, you can talk to me, talk to Sister Musawi, and we'll be happy to collect your donations, inshallah. I think that's it. Again, our programs will continue until August 11th. Our speaker is the Honorable Hujjatul Islam wal Muslimin, Sayyid Abbas Razavian. Let's welcome him to the member with your loudest salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم إلى يوم الدين. Alhamdulillah, it is another night that we're here together to mourn Imam Hussein's martyrdom alayhi salam. These 10 nights are very holy nights for us, and we can change ourselves. We can make ourselves much better if we put our heart into the azah and the mourning of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. When you look at Imam Hussein's strength in Karbala, when you see the way that he and his followers persevered, nobody quit, nobody complained, and most importantly Imam Hussein alayhi salam, with all the trials and tribulations that he had. You look at Ziyarat Ashura, it mentions how difficult the event of Karbala was. You see, for example, when we read in the Ziyarat, Ya Aba Abdullah laqad adumat ar-raziyya, surely the tribulation is great, much more than we can think. If the only person that can truly see the reality of what happened to Imam Hussein alayhi salam today is Imam Zaman, and he can really see what happened 1400 years ago to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام. Unbearable is the tragedy for us, how great it is for us and for the people of Islam. The event of Karbala is azim, is hard, is difficult. Some people, when it comes to an event in their life, their personal life, it's something small, but they make a big deal out of it. It's something small, and they cannot cope with it, they lose it. Some people, because of the greatness that they have, because of their existence, they make a huge event, a difficult test, a big trial into something that's easy. When you look at Karbala, Karbala is an event that if anybody else was there, they would have failed. They would have given in. They would have complained to God. But you see the way that Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam, with all the difficulty that he had, he made it look easy. He made it look easy. When you have one toothache, you cannot even think straight. One toothache. But Imam Hussein, with the trials and tribulations and bala, let me give you one example of that. Because it is Muharram, it's time to cry for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They say that Imam Sajjad alayhi salam witnessed when Imam Hussein would come to the tents. He would visit the tents back and forth. The trials of your master Imam Hussein alayhi salam was so much that they say that when he would breathe, inhale and exhale, from his armor, blood would come. When he would inhale and exhale, blood would come from his armor. And at that day of Karbala and that time, you see, Imam Hussein becomes more holier, more monotheistic, more arif and mystic. And this is trials and tribulations is what sets people apart. So we're saying how to change our perspective in life, how to change the way we view things. When you become a great individual, when you become a follower of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he begins to uplift himself and his companions so much that the verse of Quran is referred to him as Nafsul Mutma'inna, Ya ayyatuha Nafsul Mutma'inna, O calm heart, come to your Lord, satisfied. That Imam Hussein, according to one of the hadith, he is an instance of Nafsul Mutma'inna, a calm. Angels are distressed. They come to in the hadith as has that God, they are killing the Imam, they are killing the successor of the Prophet. The angels are distressed. Everyone is distressed, but Imam Hussein is calm. Imam Hussein is calm, and he is going to his Lord, radiyatan mardiyya, that he is satisfied with his Lord, and that his Lord is satisfied with him. How does Imam Hussein alayhi salam become so calm? How does he make in Ziyarat Nahiya we have that the angels are surprised, they do ta'ajjub from the patience of Imam Hussein. Weren't the angels the same that they complained to God, why did you create Adam? Why did you create him? He's going to spill the blood. The same angels that complained with the creation of Adam, when it comes to Hussein ibn Ali, they become amazed by his sabr and patience. Everyone is distressed, but Imam Hussein is calm. I ask you this. Some say, what is the most monotheistic and tawheedi and ubudi worshipping of God instance of Karbala? What is the climax and pinnacle of Karbala? When is it, do you think? Some say is this, when our master Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he is in the madbah of the Godal Qatl. That time, final time when they're going to kill him. Has anybody been here to the madbah of Imam Hussein, the place where Imam Hussein was been killed? When you visit Karbala, there's a separate section, because the shrine of Imam Hussein is at a place, and that Godal is a ditch. As you know, when you visit Imam Hussein, you take steps and you go down. You keep going down. There's steps. It's a ditch. Keep going down, and that place where Imam Hussein alayhi salam is killed, there's a red light. There used to be, you used to be able to go into it before. Now they closed it off. People would go into that place where Imam Hussein was killed, and they would scream. You'd hear screaming and crying. As some of our Urafa say, Ayatollah Bahjat, they say, if it wasn't for Imam Hussein's holy hand on the hearts of the believers, some people would die right there. Some people would die in Karbala. But true believers, they would die. They couldn't take that musibat of Imam Hussein. In that Goda, that most difficult time of Imam Hussein, when he lost all his companions, and the Maqtal says that he is like a porcupine, so many arrows and swords have come into him. This dua of Imam Hussein, the climax of ubudiyyat, his calmness, when you read about it in the Maqtal, Sabran ala qada'ik ya Rab, I have patience with your decree, my Lord. I have patience with your decree. Again, we said one little pain, we start complaining and we start demanding different things from God. Na'udhu billah, we go close to shirk and polytheism. But Imam Hussein, that final moment, Sabran ala qada'ik ya Rab, La ilaha sawak, there is no Lord but you. Ya Ghiyath al-Mustaqithin, oh protector of those that seeks protection. I have nothing, I have no protection. My protection and help and refuge is only from you. Complete tranquility, complete tawheed, monotheism, Why? Because the way that Imam Hussein perceived Allah, the way that Imam Hussein perceived the events, made him nafsul mutma'inna, made him a calm heart. Question, can we become like this? Can we learn from Imam Hussein and also become calm and peaceful in all trials of our lives? Imam Hussein's sister alayhi salam wasn't the same way. If she didn't have that viewpoint, that perspective, that Husseini perspective, Lady Zainab alayhi salam would not be able to bear the burdens of spreading the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. She is a sister, she is a mother, she is an aunt, and they come and show the butchered bodies of the shuhada in Karbala to make her cry. But what does she say? تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا هَذَا الْقُرْبَانِ, accept from us this sacrifice. Because she saw the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam with a different perspective. Brothers and sisters, when you change your perspective on events, you are able to deal with them. You change completely. And she saw nothing illa jamila. She saw nothing but beauty because she only saw the worship of God. Therefore, when she goes and visits and is forced as an asir and captive and has to see one of the most powerful people at that time, which is Yazid. Yes, we on the members, we demolish Yazid, yes, but was he not a powerful ruler? We, with our perspective, how would we see Yazid as a captive? We would not be able to speak against him. We would be afraid. You see his army is in front of him. His ambassadors are there. People from other countries are there. It's not just you and him. There's an army in front of you. But she, with that perspective, doesn't see Yazid owning anything. She sees Allah owning everything. He is the Malik. He owns everything. He is giving this kingdom to Yazid as a test. She sees that. So when you change your perspective on things, you'll be able to become calm. You're able to become courageous. When you do tarbiyat and changing and refining the way you view life. As we have in dua mentions, or we have in sayings, Allahumma aranil ashya kamahi. Show me things as they really are. Don't you want to know the reality of the world? Don't you want a layer removed from this world? To see things kama al-ashya, how they really are? Or do we want to see the dunya as darul ghurur, an illusion? So one of the greatest lessons, and this is the series that we're talking about, is how to refine and change the way we see things. Can we do this? Yes, we must do this. If we're going to be successful, we have to look at life with a different lens, in a different way. So therefore, Lady Zainab alayhi salam, with the way she would see when someone becomes a muwahhida, she sees the kingdom of Yazid is nothing. It's just God's test. He gave her, this belongs to God. So she destroys Yazid with her speech, destroys him, and finally he is forced to free the Usara. So this is the power of becoming a follower of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, that you see things, and have you yourself seen individuals in history that the way they viewed life is much different than us? Because of materialism, because of our sins, what causes us is to have the wrong perception, to have the wrong vision. If we're going to learn something from Karbala, is to change our perspective and have a monotheistic perspective in life. Sometimes when it comes to imagining things, the perspective we have in our own events is different. The perspective we have about ourselves is false. Sometimes the perspective that we have about God and the view and opinion about God that we have is wrong. Brothers and sisters, many times we become people, if we have the wrong perspective in our relationship with ourselves and God, is people that always are demanding, always want things from others, always want things from God, as if God owes us something. There are some people that come to the majlis of Imam Hussein, they say, Imam Hussein, I came for you. Why don't you answer my du'as? Is this correct? Is the correct opinion? is that you have to do business every time you come to the majlis of Imam Hussein. MashaAllah, everyone has a business degree, if you think of it this way. That if they don't get their hawa'ij, then they leave Imam Hussein. That's what happens. Do we come here only to gain our things and go? Or do we view the majlis of Imam Hussein something completely different? The ziyarat of Imam Hussein as this way. Let me ask you, there's this question they asked one of the ulama. They said, is the ziyarat of the imams, is it qisma or is it himma? Is it determined? Is it written for us? Or is it himma, meaning that you have to try to go? For example, someone has the tawfiq to visit Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Does it mean they had himmat and they tried hard and therefore they went? Or does this mean that it was written for them and it was their rizq? The alim answered it this way, and both of these are wrong. Both of these are wrong. It is da'wah. It is an invitation from Imam Hussein. If you view this way, you come into this majlis, this beautiful tent that we set up here, alhamdulillah, in this majlis, and you say, Ya Imam Hussein, you have invited me to come to your majlis. I don't deserve it. I myself am saying, I am the biggest sinner here. I don't deserve it. But you have given this to me. Thank you. Thank you, Imam Hussein. You have invited me. When someone invites you and gives you, say, a meal, aren't you grateful and you thank them? Or you come to the majlis of Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein, I have come for you. You have to answer all my du'as. So do you see the perspective that we have and the way we view things is much different. Imam Hussein is teaching us ubudiyyat, humbleness. One of the ulama, in the night of the 23rd of Shahr Ramadan, he went on the minbar. It was the night of Qadr. And he told everyone that I am the worst from amongst you. Actually, this alim was later on martyred, and an explosion happened, and he was one of the shaheed of Mihrab, those that were killed. And he was martyred anyway. So he said that you have come here, I am the worst because of this. You have come here to seek forgiveness for your sins. I have come here to seek forgiveness for my good deeds. How does it work? I have come here to seek forgiveness for my salat. I have come here, you have good deeds, I'm sure you have good deeds, that's why you're asking forgiveness for the bad ones. But I have come here to seek forgiveness for the salat that I have done, say for example, so many years, and I haven't paid attention to. I didn't have huzur qalb. I am coming to seek forgiveness for this salat. I am coming to seek forgiveness for my acts of worship, because I know if they compare these to Imam Ali's worship, 99%, 100% of people will fail. So the perspective that you have is, when I worship, or do I worship in a way that I say, Allah, my salat is not a true salat, help me. You know, if you talk to a child, if they're 5 and you don't pay attention, that child will get upset. A toddler, if you're looking this way or that way, you don't pay attention, that child will get upset. But we speak to God. I'm talking to about myself. For so many years we speak to Him, and we're looking at this way, we're thinking of something else, we're not paying attention, and still He accepts, invites us for more salat. This is merciful God. We have to even seek forgiveness for our good deeds, let alone our sins. Let alone our sins. So this is the way and perspective that you view yourself. You view your ibadat and worship as nothing. Believe me, if you think you're something after a little bit amount of worship, you're going to be doomed. You're going to have ujb. You're going to become arrogant. Some people, they come and say, bah, mashallah, look what I did for Imam Hussein. I gave this much money for him. I cried this much for him, mashallah. Ayatollah Wahid Khorasani says, if the entire world were to burn down for Imam Hussein, it would not be enough. It would not be enough. This is nothing. He has invited us and given us tawfiq to participate, and has given us tawfiq to help out, to volunteer. One of the prophets, Prophet Ayub, he had many different calamities in his life. They say that they took away his livestock. So he didn't have cattle, he didn't have animals anymore. One bala. He has patience. I have patience, Allah. They take away his children. He says, I have patience, Ya Allah. They call sabr Ayyub. They say a husband that has a bad wife and has patience, he'll be given the reward of Ayyub. And to be fair to sisters too, and a sister, the wife that has patience with a bad husband will be like the reward of the wife of Pharaoh, Asiya, for example. So Ayyub was a very patient person. And then his health deteriorated. Again, he had patience. His health deteriorated. Then the people began to make fun of him, he says. Look at him, he is a prophet. Badbacht, bichara. Look, I'm doing better than him financially, I'm healthier. Say I'm eating salad, I'm a vegetarian, mashallah, I'm better than this, prophet. Now he says, I cannot take this anymore. You gave me, patience, tests with my children, my money, my health, but now my honor, Allah. This I cannot have patience. They say there, information came to Prophet Ayyub, that Ayyub, it was us that gave you patience, not that you had patience. We gave you sabr, Ayyub. We gave you that patience. Don't think you did anything. And they say that he hit himself in the mouth, because that patience that he even had is from God. Let me explain this a little bit for you, because I said change our perspective. We call this in Farsi someone that is talabkar, someone that always wants from Allah, always wants people are indebted to him. Not to be like this. When you think of the good attributes that you have, the good, you are generous, you are brave, you have knowledge, you have power. Are these from you or are they from God? Which one? A lot of times you want to say it's me, but it's not true. When you look at a mirror puts someone very handsome. I don't know, one of the brothers here that's very handsome. Brother Shahrukh, who's saying, and the mirror is showing, for example, one of a handsome, say Prophet Yusuf. Is that mirror have anything good in it, or is it just reflection of beauty? Is that mirror beautiful, or is it the reflection, what it's actually reflecting beautiful? Which one? The mirror is just a reflection. When we have good in ourselves, all good, because all attributes of kamal and perfection are from God. They are not from us. They are not from us. If your knowledge was from you, I ask you this question, and when you become old and you start to forget things, do you have the power and ability to regain that knowledge? Can you get knowledge again when you're old and you're capable, and God forbid someone has Alzheimer's? Can he get knowledge? He doesn't have power. When somebody becomes old and is weak, and one time had power, one time was young and was very strong, does he have the ability to give strength to them again? No. So strength is not in our hands, it is from God. Knowledge is not in our hands, it is from God. All kamal, all good things is from God. So when you examine yourself, and I want you to change, and I'm telling myself, inshallah, the majalis of Imam Hussein are places where people can change the way they view things. Let's tonight focus on this. Focus on how can I change the way I see myself, my kamalat. And are they all from God, or are they from myself? And if they are from God, are we appreciative and do we thank Him, or are we arrogant? Another way that you change the way you perceive things is that you get close to Allah through acts of worship. You get close to Allah by worship. But worship has this danger in it, that worship has that ability to make us arrogant. Another way we can change things is when you look at bala and misfortune and calamity, that you look as that as an opportunity. God forbid that we don't ever make dua that something bad happens, but it does happen. Sometimes we're wealthier, sometimes we're poorer. Sometimes we're healthier, sometimes we're sick. Sometimes we get COVID again and again and again. It's maybe 14 times somebody has COVID. So when you look at those times of distress and calamities, those are also opportunities to be able to get close to God. Because you can change something that is a ni'mah, a blessing to you, for you. And if you use it in the right way, that will be a ni'mah. And you can change something that is you think is a niqmah, that is something terrible for you, and you can change that into something that is good for you. For example, someone reaches poverty at one point in their life. Poverty is bad, we don't like it. We make dua to not... But he takes that niqmah, that thing that is something bad, he thinks, and he has patience. He thanks Allah for it. He doesn't complain to God, and he transforms something that's bad into something good. That is another way that we perceive things, that you change when you have something good. If you spend it in the right way, that will remain good for you. But in something that is bad for you, that is a trial, you can take that and make it into something good. I remember this example. Our teacher, the late Haj Aghay Mushtahidi Tehrani, and he gives this story. This is sometimes hard for us to comprehend. And again, I said, we never make dua for sickness or poverty. But he said that one time, a person that was an arif, he went home and he told his wife, "Bring food for me, I'm hungry." And she says, "We don't have any food. They're poor, we don't have any food." Okay, then turn on the light, it's dark here. They would turn it on with oil. "Bring some oil, let's turn on the light." So he says, "We don't have oil either." So he's in the darkness, hungry. We would be upset. God, what kind of life is this? At least give me a light. But he said he worshipped God to the entire morning because of these two blessings that he had. He viewed these as blessings. Why? Because his perspective, that Arif's perspective, is much different than my perspective. I think the only way that God loves me if he gives me money and cryptocurrencies. That's the only way. And especially when cryptocurrencies go up. When cryptocurrencies go down, we think Allah doesn't love us. Or when Allah gives me health, that's only when he loves me. So that perspective, brothers and sisters, that we have in our own life, that do not be fooled with the zahir, do not be fooled with the apparent. That if you're going to learn something from Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Imam Hussein is transforming bala, both in difficult bala, into a blessing, in becoming Sayyid al-Shuhada, and Hadrat Abbas having the highest position. Imam Hussein transferred calamity into ni'mah. And the ziyarat says this: because of his martyrdom, because of his qatl, Allah gave him three things. He transformed in a something that is going to be punishing others, na'udhu billah, something that's going to be difficult on others, into something that is a blessing. Of course, for Imam Hussein, there's no punishment, na'udhu billah. It's called tarfi, raising rank. Allah gave him instead, whoever comes to his shrine and makes dua tahtul qubba, under the qubba of Imam Hussein, it will be mustajab. One blessing. So Allah, he gave martyrdom, he gave his life away, but instead, whoever comes to his shrine, and I'm sure many of you have seen this, but when you go under the shrine, under the dome of Imam Hussein and make dua, it's different. It gets answered. Imam Hadi alayhi salam spends one of his important companions to the shrine of Imam Hussein and asks him to make dua for me. And that person is confused. "You are infallible Imam." He's in Samir Ra. "How can I make dua for an Imam?" But the Imam mentions that Allah, there's places where Allah loves to answer those du'as, and that is under the dome of Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein gave his children, but instead, Imamat in this ziyarat was passed on through him. The different Imams that came were the children of Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein had martyrdom, was killed, but instead his dirt became shafa. His dirt became shafa. Even if you take the dirt, say from the Holy Prophet of Islam's grave, it's not permissible to consume. Even though the Prophet of Islam has a higher position than Imam Hussein. But Imam Hussein, there's a khususiyat with his dirt because of his martyrdom. That if you have, some say with water, you mix it with water. Ayatollah Bahjat mentions if you either 70 times or 7 times, even with water that's zamzam, it's even better, and you give a spoonful every day to that sick, there will be shafa, as long as it's the dirt of Imam Hussein. So you see that there's ways that we learn from Karbala to transform things that are going to be distress for us, calamities, into opportunities. And that is one of the ways that we view ourselves. Inshallah, we'll continue this discussion on how to change the way that we see things. And hopefully through Imam Hussein and through Hadrat Abbas, we can get that ma'rifat and that knowledge, that deep knowledge that we need, that from now on we can be able to see things differently. You know, today we had Julus, and some people here came to downtown Los Angeles. And one of the ways that you see Imam Hussein, you see his power. I was thinking of the power of Imam Hussein today. Downtown is known to be a filthy place. Zahiran and Batinan, it's a filthy place. You know, it doesn't smell nice. It's the place of corruption. I was thinking to myself, La ilaha illallah, subhanallah. Imam Hussein, you're so alim, you're so great, that you transformed downtown Los Angeles to a place of the remembrance of God. That everybody that was there was remembering God, shedding tears, crying. 1400 years after your martyrdom, Imam Hussein. In a continent much farther from Karbala, Imam Hussein comes, and the inayat and the awareness and the lutf of Imam Hussein comes to a street in Los Angeles downtown, and he becomes mutahhir. He cleanses and cleans those streets, because the Ahlul Bayt are clean and they are mutahhir, they clean. This is the way that we should view Imam Hussein. That even 1400 years, even from another continent, that Imam Hussein, his name is still alive, and the effects of being Husseini is still vivid, and every day, every year, you're witnessing this more and more. Inshallah, you will see this connection between the love of Imam Hussein and the dhuhur of Imam Zaman, because there's a connection. There's a connection. When Imam Hussein alayhi salam was being martyred, they complained, the angels complained to God, how are you allowing this? And then Allah showed him intiqam, showed him the revenger of Imam Hussein. And then the angels were calm. They showed him Imam Zaman and mentioned that by him Imam Hussein will be revenged. So therefore you see that there's a connection between Imam Hussein and Imam Zaman. We're going to dim the lights, and inshallah remember one of the tragic parts of the event of Karbala, inshallah. And we ask Allah this, make this dua that, Ya Allah, you invited us, change the way that we see things. Give us aran al-ashya kamahi, show us things how they really are. Let us not be fooled. We're tired of being fooled. If we can dim the lights, I'd appreciate it. And we ask Allah, inshallah, to open our hearts and allow our tears to flow for Imam Hussein, because this is one of the great rizqs that we have. Let's recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You know, in this country that we live, and around the world, whenever you see a young person, especially a young girl, a young boy, people are very careful for them not to be hurt or harmed, because a young girl or a young boy cannot defend themselves. They need to be cared for, because when they're growing up, those events that they have in their life are going to change and shape their future. So people are very careful with children, because it's a sign of rahmat and blessings. Especially a child that their father just passed away, an orphan. People feel sorry for them usually. They come to them, they console them. When Imam Hussein told Hamida, the daughter of Muslim ibn Aqil, that her father was killed, he brought her, this is the way that he treated a young girl, brought her on her and had her sit on her lap, his lap. And she already knew the kindness of Imam Hussein. She said, I feel as if I'm already an orphan. She knew. And he says, from now on, I'm your father, he told her. But I ask you, my friends, this. How did they treat Ruqayya, the daughter of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? What happened to Ruqayya? People are usually very sensitive when it comes to children. Children cannot defend against themselves. Children, their faces are very small. When they get smacked, they might hit a part of me. But when they smack a small child, they'll hit both sides with one smack. They say they took her earrings and ripped her earrings off. They didn't know that this family, if you asked Ruqayya for her earrings, she would have given it to her, I swear by God. If you asked for her earrings, she's from a generous family, she would have given it herself to you. Why do the children of Imam Hussein, some say 10, 20 children were in the camps of Imam Hussein. And Imam Sajjad yells and Ahlul Bayt, they yell al-Farar, they tell him run when they come to set the camps on fire. Camps like these, you could say, for example, camps, if you went to the Mukhayyam of Imam Hussein, they rebuilt the camps. Al-Farar, each child ran in a different direction. Some children, their clothes caught on fire. These are children, Ruqayya, her father has just passed away. She needs to be caressed. They need somebody to console her. But from city to city, with bare feet, walking, and from desert to desert on the hot sands, while being disgraced and humiliated, being the daughter of Imam Hussein, the granddaughter of Imam Ali. Come and see Hussein. Hussein, you're not there to see Lady Ruqayya. This small lady that with her child, with her tiny hands, will open the most difficult of problems that you have. Those that have gone to Syria, Damascus, see the shrine of Lady Ruqayya, what it does to your heart, the way it burns your heart. Come and see your daughter, Imam Hussein. She has not slept for many nights. Ruqayya has not slept for many nights. Instead of counting the stars at night, little girls, those of you that has a child, you know this. Those of you that have a little daughter, you know. Children, they count the things. Instead of counting the stars at night, she counts her wounds that she incurs, how many times she's been hit. Hussein, your daughter, her feet are like your lips. They're blistered and cracked. She has not been caressed, but instead she has been smacked and beaten. Look and see Imam Hussein alayhi salam. There is no color in her pale face. No one is there to brush her hair, but the fire that scorched it. And then this child is crying and crying in the dungeons of Sham, the Kharabe of Sham. She is crying and crying. As if today we can still hear her tiny voice. When she asks for Hussein, in these wretched people, they bring the head of Imam Hussein to her, it says. What is a child going to do when she sees the head of her father? She begins to talk, and the Maqtal says, she begins to talk to Imam Hussein. Where were you, Imam Hussein? What happened to me, Imam Hussein? As if we can still hear these lines, Ya abata man alladhi aytamani ala sighra siddi. Ya Father, who has made me an orphan at such a young age? How hard, she says, as if she's saying to the head of Imam Hussein, how hard is it being an orphan? How hard is it being a captive? I have endured, I have become old at a young age. I'm 3 or 4 years old, but I'm an old lady now because of this musibah that I face. My heart longs for you, Father, Ya Abata, my father. Let me not tell what I've seen. Let me not tell what I've heard. But I'll tell you one thing, Imam Hussein. I'll tell you one thing, Father. I have suffered. Tell Zahra, your mother, I have suffered some of her beatings. Your mother was beat, Hussein alayhi salam. I also have been beaten like your mother. I have tasted the beating. I have tasted the smacking. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله إنا إليه راجعون. Because of the small hands, this symbol of oppression of Imam Hussein in Syria. Ya Allah, give us ma'rifat and knowledge, inshallah. Allow us to view things how they truly are. Expedite the return of our Imam, inshallah, with his salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
حسین عزیز زهرا، حسین عزیز زهرا، آقا سرت سلامت، شاه سرت سلامت، مولا سرت سلامت. حسین عزیز زهرا، آقا سرت سلامت، مولا سرت سلامت، شاه سرت سلامت. حسین عزیز زهرا، آقا سرت سلامت، شاه سرت سلامت، مولا سرت سلام. همه حسین عزیز زهرا، آقا سرت سلامت، شاه سرت سلام، مولا سرت سلامت. حسین عزیز زهرا، آقا سرت سلامت، شاه سرت سلامت، مولا سرت جانم. حسین عزیز، حسین عزیز زهرا، آقا سرت شاه، مولا سرت سلامت. حسین میا به کوفه وفا ندارد. حسین میا به کوفه وفا ندارد. کوفی بی مروت شرم و حیا ندارد. حسین عزیز زهرا، آقا سرت سلام، جانم. شاه سرت مولا. حسین عزیز زهرا، حسین عزیز زهرا، شاه سرت علی. یار مسافر من، یار مسافر من، آخر بگو کجایی. دعای آخرم هست، دعای آخرم هست. خدا کند نیایی، خدا کند نیایی. خدا کند ایالت، خدا کند ایالت. این کوفه را نبیند، این کوفه را نبیند. بر فرق دخترانت خاک غمت نشیند، خاک غمت نشیند. حسین عزیز زهرا، جانم. آقا سرت سلامت، شاه سرت سلامت، مولا سرت. حسین عزیز زهرا، حسین عزیز زهرا، مولا علی. بر گوش من نسیمه، بر گوش من نسیمه. کوفه خبر رسانده، از کوفه یک نفر هم حتی برات نمانده. هر کس برای قتل یک نقشی کشیده، یک نقشی. هر کس برای قتل یک نقشه‌ای کشیده. یا تیغ و تیر و نیزه تیر و کمان خریده. حسین عزیز زهرا آقا سرت سلامت. حسین عزیز زهرا آقا سرت سلامت. شاه سرت مولا سرت سلام. حسین عزیز زهرا حسین عزیز زهرا آقا سرت سلامت. کربلا منتظر ماست بیا برگردی. کربلا منتظر ماست بیا برگردی. به خدا محشر کبراست بیا برگردیم. کربلا منتظر ماست بیا برگردی. کربلا منتظر ماست بیا برگردی. به خدا محشر کبراست بیا برگردی. چه کنم شور عجیبی به دلم افتاده. چه کنم شور عجیبی به دلم افتاده. دیدم چشمه دریاست بیا برگردیم. کربلا منتظر ماست بیا برگردی. کربلا منتظر ماست بیا برگردی. به خدا محشر کبرا چه کنم شور عجیبی به دلم افتاده. چه کنم شور عجیبی به دلم افتاده. نگرانی تو پیداست بیا برگردی. کربلا منتظر ماست بیا برگردی. دیدی گفتم خبری هست که ما بی خبری. دیدی گفتم خبری هست که ما بی خبری. راه برگشت مهیاست بیا برگردی. پرده ها رفت کنار از جلوی چشمانم. پرده ها رفت کنار از جلوی چشمانم. فکر بد در سر آنهاست بیا برگردی. به خدا محشر کبراست بیا برگردیم. کربلا منتظر ماست بیا برگردی. کربلا منتظر ماست بیا برگردی. به خدا محشر کبراست بیا برگردی. هر ملع منتظر ماست به آنجا برسی. هر ملع منتظر ماست به آنجا برسی. هر ملع منتظر ماست به آنجا برسی. هدفش صورت سقاست بیا برگردی. به خدا محشر کبراست بیا برگردی. صحبت طفل رباب است در آن بحبوحه. صحبت طفل رباب است در آن بحبوحه. صحبت اکبر لیلاست بیا برگردی. دیدم آنجا که همه حافظند با نیزه. دیدم آنجا که همه حلقه زدن با نیزه. بستر نعش تو دعواست بیا برگردی. به خدا محشر کبراست بیا برگردیم. کربلا
باید تا حالا می مردم. چه جوری طاقت آوردم. هر جایی که زمین خوردم هی مادر اسم تو بردم باید تا حالا می مردم چجوری طاقت آوردم هر جایی که زمین خوردم هی مادر اسم تو بردم یه حرفی مونده تو دلم با تو صورت من کبوتر یا تو ندیدی رو نیسر بابا تو ندیدی رو نیسر بابا تو یه حرفی مونده تو دلم با تو صورت من کبوتر یا تو ندیدی رو نیسر بابا تو ندیدی رو نیسر بابا تو مدد بی رقیه مدد بی رقیه مدد بی رقیه مدد بی رقیه مدد بی صداش بزن رقیه تو قول و زنجیر دستامو کبود زیر چشمامو میبینی زخم لبهامو میگم که میخوام بابامو تو قول و زنجیر دستامو کبود زیر چشمامو میبینی زخم لبهامو میگم که میخوام بابامو شنیدم از سیلی و میخدر با این که قصه دیدی ای مادر ولی نرفت از سر تو مجر ولی نرفت از سر تو مجر یه حرفی مونده تو دلم با تو صورت من کبوتر یا تو ندیدی رو نیسر بابا تو ندیدی رو نیسر بابا تو مدد بی رقیه مدد بی رقیه مدد بی رقیه مدد بی صداش بزن مدد بی رقیه مدد بی یه بار دیگه مدد بی رقیه رقیه روح ریحان من ای حسین جان من روح ریحان من ای حسین جان من تویی تو خون خدا یا سید الشهدا سفینه السعدا یا ابا عبدالله یا ابا عبدالله روح ریحان من ای حسین جان من روح ریحان من ای حسین جان من تویی تو خون خدا یا سید الشهدا سفینة السعدا یا ابا عبدالله یا ابا عبدالله تا قیامت میرسه سلام ملائک ان الارواح التي حلت به فنائک تا قیامت میرسه سلام ملائک و ان الارواح التي حلت به فنائک السلام علی ساکن کربلا السلام علی ساکن کربلا السلام علی ساکن کربلا ساکن کربلا ابی عبدالله یا سار الله ابی عبدالله یا سار جانم ابی عبدالله در تاب و در تبم شیعه زینبم در تاب و در تبم شیعه زینبم تا مقصد کرب و بلاست راه او عزت ماست عشق ما خون خداست یا ابا عبدالله یا ابا عبدالله تا مقصد کرب و بلاست راه او عزت ماست عشق ما خون خداست یا ابا عبدالله عبدالله بیرق سرخ حسین بر شانه های ما ذکر یا زینب باشد دین و ایمان ما بیرق سرخ حسین بر شانه های ما ذکر یا زینب باشد دین و دنیای ما یک تن مثل او در صف دشمناست یک تن مثل او در صف دشمنان گویم یک سر حسین حسین تا پای جان ابی عبدالله یا سار الله ابی عبدالله یا سار الله ابی عبدالله ابی عبدالله یا سار الله بر مشامم میرسد هر لحظه بوی کربلا بر مشامم میرسد هر لحظه بوی کربلا بر دلم ترسم بماند آرزوی کربلا بر دلم ترسد بماند آرزوی کربلا بر مشامم میرسد هر لحظه بوی کربلا بر مشامم میرسد هر لحظه بوی کربلا بر دلم ترسم بماند آرزوی کربلا بر دلم ترسم بماند آرزوی کربلا تشنه تشنه آب فراتم ای اجل مهلت بده تشنه آب فراتم ای اجل مهلت بده تا بگیرم در بغل قبر شهید کربلا تا بگیرم در بغل قبر شهید کربلا وای حسین وای حسین وای حسین وای حسین
به تو از دور سلام به سلیمان نجف از طرف مور سلام به تو از دور سلام به سلیمان جهان از طرف مور سلام به تو از دور سلام دل من واسه زیارت میزنه شور سلام به تو از دور سلام به سلیمان جهان از از طرف مور سلام، به تو از دور سلام. دل من واسه زیارت میزنه شور سلام، به تو از دور سلام. به سلیمان جهان از طرف مور سلام، به تو از دور سلام. به سلیمان جهان از طرف مور سلام، به تو از دور سلام. به حسین از طرف وصله ناجور سلام، به تو از دور سلام. به سلیمان جهان از طرف مور سلام، به تو از دور سلام. دل من واسه زیارت میزنه شور سلام، به تو از دور سلام. به سلیمان جهان از طرف مور سلام، به تو از دور سلام. به حسین از طرف وصله ناجور سلام. همه دنیام حسین، من فقط تو رو برا خود تو میخوام حسین. همه دنیام حسین، یاد گرفتم اسم تو از لب بابام حسین. همه دنیام حسین، من فقط تو رو برا خود تو میخوام حسین. همه دنیام حسین، واسه اربعین بده توون به پاهام حسین. به تو دل بسته شدم، به شبای جمعه کربلا وابسته شدم. به تو دل بسته شدم، مثل اون کسی که عاشقون سرمسته شدم. به تو دل بسته شدم، به شبای جمعه کربلا وابسته شدم. به تو دل بسته شدم، به خدا من از همه به غیر تو خسته شدم. به تو از دور سلام، به سلیمان جهان از طرف مور سلام. به تو از دور سلام، به سلیمان جهان از طرف مور سلام. به تو از دور سلام.